Welcome back to the Rouges and Yanks, where we talk everything Canada soccer and U.S. soccer. Tonight we'll be talking about and reviewing the finalized version of the Canadian Men's Gold Cup roster. And this one I would be like, it's going to be like last videos and others where I react to rosters. I read off the list of different names, but this time it's a finalized roster, so we get to see who made it and who didn't. And after we read the names, we're going to talk about um, the players that stand out that did make this roster and the players that didn't make this roster that I am a little disappointed that didn't, but it is what it is. Um, Overall, I can tell you right now, it's still a pretty great roster built from the Canadian men's side, and I expect them to make some noise in this tournament, this year's Gold Cup tournament. But without further ado, let me go ahead and go into them and read the names. So the people who made the team, or the finalized version of the roster for the 2021 Gold Cup, are Ayo Akinola, the new commit from Canada, Tejan Buchanan, Lucas Cavallini from the New England Revolution, Theo Corbanyu, Maxime Crepeau, Alphonse Davies, Stephen Astacchio, Leon Frazier, Donnell Henry, Junior Hoylett, Alstar Johnson from Nashville, Mark Anthony Kay from LAFC, Scott Kennedy, Kyle Aaron, Richie Larea, Jason Whitwiller, Kamal Miller, Jonathan Osorio, Tyler Pasher, that's a new name, Harry Patton, Samuel Piette, Dane St. Clair, and Stefan Victoria. So we do have, as I mentioned, a couple new names that you probably haven't heard of. You're probably thinking, whoa, where have they been, right? Me too. I didn't even know that they were Canadian or even weren't part of this roster, right? But after reading the names, the main name that stands out to me that I'm disappointed that I did not see is Jonathan David. I thought Canada was gonna put everything into this one, but they did leave out some quality players, just as Jonathan David, right? He was with them in qualifying as well as other games, but it looks like for Gold Cup qualifying, he's not going to be with them this time. Instead, someone else is going to take his place. So they do lose a quality striker, but it is what it is. These are the players we have to work with. So probably honestly, it probably makes it better or just more fun to watch too, to see how Canada performs without its star players in such a tournament. But that is one score threat gone, but there are two. It looks like two score threats that I would still play, which I'm going to talk about in my starting 11. And you probably already heard of them before, but I'll talk about them before. I'll talk about them again. But no Jonathan David for this tournament, it looks like. And it also looks like there's going to be no Frank Stirring or Ativa Hutchison for this tournament either. I haven't, it's been a long time since we've seen Hutchinson or, but Frank Stirring, that's another bummer. I thought he looked well in CONCACAF qualifying, World Cup qualifying. And Ativa Hutchison, another quality player, a couple players without him that stings, right? And so overall, before I do the overall, I do want to talk about a couple of names that stand out. We have three new names, such as Harry Paxton, Tyler Pasher, and Jason Whitwiller. And once again, I apologize if I butchered any of the names. But those names, I didn't even know that they were on this roster to begin with. And that's pretty good. It kind of gets me excited. One of them is a keeper, the other is a mid, and the other is a striker. I believe that Tyler Passer, he came from Indy 11, which is in the USL in USA Soccer or American Soccer, and that's a minor league. But hey, he did get brought up, and now he plays for the current team, Houston Dynamo, and he's a striker for that, and 27 years old too. So, maybe we might see him. He could perhaps start and take David's place, but I probably doubt he would. But for my sake, I wouldn't mind seeing it. It's going to be probably Lucas Cavallini stepping up if he hasn't stepped up already. He's going to take David's spot, but I wouldn't mind seeing some of these new guys get some playing time. I know the keeper may not, but the midfielder and it looks like Peyton, not Paxton, Harry Peyton and Tyler Passer. I wouldn't mind seeing them play. Have fun. That's what this tournament's about. Overall, it looks like for the most part, they're still playing a dominant team, but not quite the dominant team I expected. I thought they were going to run it back, but it looks like they're not going to run it back. So with missing a few quality players, but hey, um, this is not overall still not a bad team. Actually, compared to the other rosters I looked at, like the USA, which I'm going to talk about them in another video, pretty darn good. Mexico may still be Mexico. I know they're bringing up Golden. Well, looks like what's going to be Golden Boot winner Chicharito. Um, Looks like he will be part of Mexico, just like Efrain Alvarez, a new. And by the way, he did commit to Mexico from the USA, so that's another dual national that have been lost to Mexico. But rumor has it that he was already swaying to Mexico in the first place, so it might not hurt as bad. But looks like we might see him in a Mexico jersey in the Gold Cup. Um, but overall, Canada's team, what they're bringing in with their finalized roster, I mean, not bad. Not bad at all. Pretty good. It's going to be interesting to see what they do against quality teams. Maybe they can force some upsets, right? And that's what I like most about these tournaments, just like the Euros. Just watching a whole bunch of upsets happen. You don't know. We never know. Anybody can beat anybody, and that's just one of the beautiful things about the sport in general. Is anyone can beat anyone at any given time or point, and it's a beauty to watch. Now, overall, but yes, A minus, B plus team I give Canada. Still solid, you know. I expect them to do some damage in this tournament, but for the roster, that is it. But now you get to see me talk about my theoretical starting 11. This is the players I would start, and for fun, once again, this is, if something seems off or wrong, just remember this is just my roster for funsies, not a serious roster. So I am playing a 4-3-3, which is, if you don't know, this is my favorite formation. And let's start with the keeper. I think Dane Sinclair from Minnesota United. That's another key point I'm forgetting. Um, Milan Borjan, what's Canada's starting keeper. He was not called up for this one, which I'm fine with seeing, honestly. Dane St. Clair, I think he'll put on a great performance. But for Minnesota United, he's looked great, as I said earlier in the video. He's looked good for Minnesota United, despite their troubles. But he's looked his best. I think he's capable of starting for this, and I think he also deserves to be on this finalized roster. So give him a shot. I wouldn't mind seeing him over Crepo, or even Maxime Crepo. But we'll see who Canada chooses to start. Either it's going to be Crepo or it will be Dane Sinclair. Now let's go to our back four. The back four defenders, a given spot, and forgot to mention in this roster compared to the preliminary roster, there's actually a lot of changes. But I'll get to them, and I'll say instead of so and so, blank, I would have blank in this position. But right now we still have a lockdown position, and it's Alphonso Davies. Gotta have him. He's gonna. Now it sucks though, because you're not gonna have a Davies to David connection. But hopefully he can still be the Davies that we've seen and know in this tournament. But I have him in the left back position. Then I have looks like instead of Stirring, as he wasn't called up for this one, I'm gonna have Stefan Victoria in the first center back position. And I think he would still look well. He looked pretty good in CONCACAF World Cup qualifying. So I would run him again. I wouldn't mind seeing him. And then the next one I have Donnell Henry. I think I had him last time. I would have Henry there, and then Richie Larea from TFC, Toronto FC. He's looked outstanding. Let's just say it that way, outstanding. I know Toronto's struggling right now, but he alone has looked pretty great. He's had some flashy moments for TFC, and hopefully we get to see those flashy moments continue for the Canadian side too. But I would have him on the right back position. He can also attack the wings and cut in just like Alphonso Davies. So that's another great person to have. And then we move to our midfield, and I would have we have a new guy, right? Instead of it was somebody here originally. I don't know who it was, but I would have Harry Payton. I thought he looked pretty great, and so I haven't seen him actually. So I'm not saying he's pretty great, but give him a shot. He's one of the new guys. He's a midfield. I think he plays football in Europe. You know, he's young. Give him a shot. He's only 23 years old. I think he might come off as a bench because Canada might be going for experience in this tournament. But once again, it's for fun. Give him some time. Give him playing time. I want to see what this kid can do. You know, and that's unless it would look nice, but I say give him a chance. Start him. Nothing can go wrong. If he's not giving you the performance you want, then you can sub him. But give him a shot. I haven't even seen this kid play before, but hopefully he is great. Hopefully he does look great on paper. Or in the game, as his team and everything looks great on paper. But we'll see what his performance is if they play him in the Gold Cup, which they should. Then, not changing in the midfield, we have Jonathan Osorio, also from TFC. For me, that's another lockdown guy. You got to have Jonathan Osorio in the mix. Great facilitator, can get you balls. He also can attack. He's also really great. Just great all around. Another great all around player to have in this Canadian roster. And then the final midfield spot, we have a change from the last roster. Instead of Atiba Hutchinson, because he didn't get caught up, I have Mark Anthony Kaye, which that is great from LAFC. He's looked great. Another flashy pace guy. I think he'll be a great threat. And, oh, man, it's shaping up to be a great roster already, just with the defense in the mid and the keeper. Hopefully they can fulfill, but I think Mark Anthony Kaye will be a great addition, a great backup for Atiba Hutchinson. Now we go to our strikers, our three up top. And yeah, I gotta say this again. If something seems off, this is because I'm playing a 4-3-3. So if there's someone in the position that normally doesn't play, that's because there's three in the mid and three in the top, or there's just because it's a different formation. This is my favorite formation. I'm just putting this for fun use. And but we go back to the three up top. We have, instead of Jonathan David, he didn't get caught up. I want to see Tyler Pasher for Houston Dynamo, former Indy 11 guy. I've heard a lot of great stuff about this guy. I actually watched some of his highlights too in the USO, and I was watching some Indy 11 clips the other day, and he looked pretty great. He was one of their star players too. So give him a shot too. Why not? Some of these new guys, who knows? They might be able to crack their way into the complete A team, the World Cup qualifying team. It also builds depth and rotation too. So it's also great to have multiple options to choose from rather than just running David and your typical strikers, right? Because in the octagon, we all know it's going to be tough, and players are going to be looking for breaks. And so hopefully some of these new players that are getting a crack into the team can also break into the finalized Canada overall A team. But yeah, Tyler Pasher, give him a shot. And then of course the next striker position is the new commit, Io Akinola. Once again, another TFC guy. He's looked great. Chris Armas, I don't know why for TFC he sometimes does not start him. I believe Akinola should start every single game for Toronto FC. I believe that he could help them out of this somewhat. I know he can't do it alone, but at least he scores when he starts. So that's not a sign already. I say you got to look deeply into this guy for TFC. But for the Canadian side, I'm excited to see what he can do. Once again, another attacker, young guy too, 20 years old, but he's got a lot of potential. And I think at the rate he's going, he will go to Europe. It's only a matter of time. Very soon, probably. And finally, the last striker position is, instead of Tesho Akindele, he did not make it. Once again, I thought he looked pretty decent for Orlando City, but apparently there are some better options. I would give me Tejan Buchanan for New England Revolution. This guy's, once again, he's still going on a tear for New England, and that's just great. Great news for them. And he's a pleasure to watch. I believe he can also be a dangerous player for Canada, and I'm excited to see what he can do. Just like I'm excited to see what everyone can do in this tournament. I'm looking forward to just watching this tournament. Both teams just go at it. Canada probably upsets Mexico, Jamaica, or whoever that stands in their way. I can't wait to see this. Same with the USA. I'll make a video for that too. But I just can't wait to see whoever's giant stand in the way. I hope just can't to see them get taken down. And that's what this Gold Cup tournament's all about. And so just finally going over to finalize my starting 11, I would have Dane St. Clair in the net. It could be Maxime Crepeau, but I want Dane St. Clair. Give me not Jonathan Davies, guys. Alphonso Davies, Stephen Victoria, Donnell Henry, and Richie Larea on back four, with new guy Harry Payton on the midfield, Osorio and Mark Anthony Kay all on the mid, and then up top, give me another new guy, Tyler Passer, Ayo Akinola, and Tejon Buchanan. I think it's a pretty solid lineup right there. That might be enough to trouble a lot of teams in this tournament. But if you like this video, make sure you like, share, subscribe it. Tell all your friends that tomorrow I have a U.S. Reaction to the Gold Cup roster as well. And I can't wait to see what happens. And we'll analyze them as well. But for now, that is it. Tell all your friends to get ready for the Gold Cup.